I hate maintenance. I absolutely despise it. The idea that my car just can't work perfectly all the time, the idea that when it's not snowy out, I have to mow my lawn every once in a while to make sure it doesn't get overgrown, and the fact that I have to clean my bathroom every week, the fact that I have to change strings on the guitar every once in a while. Back in college, one of the summer jobs I had was actually doing maintenance work at some parking garages in the city, and it wasn't a particularly physically taxing job, but it was so incredibly monotonous. I only worked 3 days a week, and I could even choose which days I worked, but if I was cleaning the stairwell on Monday, sure enough, I'd be cleaning that same stairwell on Thursday because the dust from the city would have collected up again already, and it just needs to be maintained that way. I can't remember the exact quote, but recently Patrick Rothfuss, a fantasy writer, also talked about how maintaining your mental health is similar to maintaining a car. Once in a while, even when you're in a good place, once in a while you might need a tune-up just to make sure things are working all right. I can't tell you how many times over the years, after I really started to actively work on my mental health, going to therapy, talking to friends and family about my issues rather than just letting them bottle up inside, I would feel like, oh, I've reached a place where I feel like I know how to deal with things, or I'm in a good mental place and I feel like this is the start of something awesome, a great new beginning. And then sure enough, a few months later, or not even necessarily that long, maybe a few days later, a few weeks, a few months, or whatever, I'd be in a place where I'd just be like, how am I here again? How am I in this crappy place where it doesn't feel like anything's gonna bring me out of it, or I know what I need to do to get out of it, but it's just exhausting. That's sort of what Broke Down Car is about. I wrote this song in the midst of trying to figure out last year, do I need to leave my job? It's really doesn't seem to be working for me right now, and I know that I'm not in a healthy mental state. I went back to therapy to talk it out, and everything seemed to be pointing to look, you should leave this job. That's something you should do. And that was scary to think about because it's a source of income. I have a house now. I was hoping to really start getting work done on my music career stuff, and having a consistent income facilitates being able to do those things. It facilitates being able to go to therapy to talk these sort of things out. So I was struggling. To figure out what to do next. And one of these days when I was feeling like crap, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I don't know what decision to make. That's sort of where this song came out. I think a lot of my songs, the ones that I've finished, start with a lyric, and the lyric usually gives rise to a melody. Those things come very close together to me, and once I start figuring out the melody, I'll pick up a guitar or sit down at the piano or work out something on the computer where, okay, I know what this melody is, so what chords fit underneath it? What chords am I hearing in my head that complement this melody? And what things can I change up about that to make it a little more interesting? So very quickly, I think with this song, the lyric and the melody and then the chords, especially that opening riff, that hook, came together. And the overall structure of the song came together fairly quickly. And the bridge started out as a sort of exploration of that feeling of, I don't know what I need to do next, I don't know what the right decision to make is. And it used to sound something like, I don't know this road too well, it's not on the map I have inside my mind. It was all basically the opposite of what it is now, because what really was the turning point in completing the song for me was realizing, oh, I'm in a place where I feel really, really crappy right now, but I've been in this place before, and I've come through it before, and so once again, I can't remember what other song I talked about with this. I think it was The Things We See at Night, when I really started looking at, okay, why isn't this lyric working for me? Why isn't this in this song? Why isn't the bridge section working for me? Taking whatever I was talking about and actually doing the opposite, saying I know this road really well, and it's a place that I've been to before. That really helped sort of unlocked the rest of the song for me, at least the rest of the bridge. It's a topic that I touch on again in Endurance, one of the later songs in the album, and I think that one actually is a little more proactive in the way that it deals with that concept, I think, but we'll talk more about that when I get to that song. With this one, I have a tendency, just because my brain works with patterns and likes messages and stuff, sometimes in trying to complete a story or a poem or a song, I try to figure out a way to like bring it back together or like tie it up nice in a bow, even though I know that that's not the way that these things usually work. Just because my brain likes pattern recognition and that sort of stuff, it tries to go in that direction sometimes. But with this one, I use the structure of the plot of this song as a way to figure out where to go with the lyrics. It starts off with the car breaks down and the speaker is really frustrated and doesn't know what to do, but for the time being, sun setting, they're just gonna sleep in the car, and the bridge is sort of ruminations as they're lying there in the car, whether it's actively thinking it or through dreams or whatever. And then the end of the song, the last chorus, is the sun coming up in the morning and figuring out, I don't need to have everything figured out at the moment, but not everything is lost. There's still some life within this car. Hopefully it can get me to the next checkpoint I can get to so that I can figure out what to do next. And sometimes that's all you need, just a little bit of motivation to get something done, a little bit of encouragement, not to solve everything all at once, but just to get to the place where you can take a moment to reflect and figure out, okay, I'm through that. Where do I go next? Just a quick end card here. I'm going to be taking the next week or two off from these videos because of the holidays. If you celebrate anything, have a good one. If not, stay safe and warm this winter wherever you may be. If you haven't checked out the album yet, click the link down in the description. You can listen to it all on Bandcamp right now. You can hear the full studio version of Broke Down Car, which is one of those songs that I was so happy with how it turned out. Please like, share, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Thanks for watching.